Hello, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about self-showing technology. It's very current right now because of the quarantine, and also it's actually very convenient. We've been using it for over 7 years in our property management company, and we've never had any issues with it. So, what is self-showing technology? Basically, it's a technology, it's a software in combination with Lockbox that allows the tenant to schedule an appointment, open the door, look at the property, and apply online without you getting involved at all. So that's all there is to it. If it's so convenient, why don't all property managers and landlords use this? I will read a couple of reasons why people are still reluctant to use that. And let me look at, yeah. Well, one is I don't want to expose myself to risk and liability. What happens if someone slips and falls? Well, that's easy. This can happen whether the property is shown with property manager, real estate agent, or the tenant goes by themselves. If an accident occurs, um, evidently you have home insurance for that. So that shouldn't be a reason to avoid this technology, especially if you a property manager or a landlord with a lot of units. Okay, next is managing a tenant I met personally is much easier in the long run. Well, there is something about, I hear this more from landlords than property managers because I think property managers regard this relationship as more professional. In landlords, especially with less units, this is more of a personal relationship. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a good relationship with your tenant. The thing is that relationship can start after they approve. It doesn't have to start at showing. The next the next question actually I got was I need to meet somebody in person, not question, but objection. I need to meet someone in person before deciding to rent to them. I am a good judge of character. Don't we all think we're good judges of character? There is a research actually that shows that we only think we're good judges of character, and we are only if the person we're judging is open and honest with us. So if you get a bad apple, it's a bad apple and you're not gonna know about it. So that's why you need to screen them. So I don't see this as a valid objection at all. The next one, yes, I can agree that the next objection is it exposes the owner to potential theft and damage. I actually, before signing up with Rently.com, I did think about that a lot, especially we were using log boxes at the properties weren't ours. So in my mind, what I have decided is if something should happen, I will compensate the owner. It's just the convenience and how fast we were renting properties with this. It was definitely worth the risk, and there is a risk. And knowing that, actually, Show Mojo has a insurance policy that covers any accidents that may happen if using their software and logboxes. And the last objection is someone can move in and I can't get them out. Okay, well, if somebody moves in, they can break in and move in. They will be trespassing, and you should call the police and get them out. That's the easiest way. So, those are the objections. I want to go over why you should use what I found, why you should use self-showing technology, and what I found helpful when using it. As I mentioned, we've used Rently for about 6 years, 6+ years, and we've used ShowMojo for less than a year. We've used Cold Boxes a little bit, maybe short time, Tenant Turner. And so I have I've used all of the self-showing websites, software, I'm sorry. So the one big thing that we found, the big benefit with Rently, was we got a lot more traffic. And we didn't see this in the beginning because we were thinking, okay, we enter it in the MLS, we enter it in our software, it goes to all the other websites. But one thing we actually missed was we didn't think that all of the major, huge property, corporate property management companies like Invitation Homes, Homes for Rent, Progress, all of these people, all of these companies are using Rently.com. And they're not relying only on Zillow and the other websites. They actually paying pay-per-click, using their own websites. And what happens when a tenant goes to Zillow, let's say, and looks at one of the Invitation Homes properties? They look at it, they apply, they get pre-qualified with Rently. The good thing with Rently is that a potential tenant can go online, they get pre-qualified, Rently keeps all their information. So they pre-qualified and they can look at more than one property. So they just get the code when they go to the actual property. So if a tenant went to, let's say, Invitation Homes or the other corporate property managers, then they look at the property, it didn't work. They go to Rently.com and see what else is there that they can look because they're already pre-qualified. They don't have to do anything, just make an appointment. So we got a lot of traffic. And we found that we were renting properties in days rather than months. So that was the big benefit that I didn't see when we started using Rently. So the next one is convenience, and I talked about it a little bit. We have a market where people come in for the weekend. Sometimes they are out with property managers, but sometimes they look by themselves. And if you're a small property management company or landlord, you might be somewhere during the weekend. If you have a self-showing logbox, they can just make an appointment, see the property, and apply online. And it's that easy. And two other additional benefits that I find what kind of extra is that the tenants, you get some pre-qualification of the tenants because one, they have a credit card, otherwise they would not be able to go in and look at the property. And second, they got this text that tells them this is what our conditions are for you to apply. So there is pre-qualification before you get into the car and go show a property. And the last benefit is we get some feedback on the condition of the property. We sometimes they're not aware what the tenant, I mean, we think we know, but not always. So it's good when we have a feedback, and if you are property manager and you get a lot of feedback about something, you can show this to the owner and tell them, hey, we need to fix this, otherwise we're not going to be able to rent the property. So that's what I found that was really beneficial for us as property managers and for the owners. So the three companies, actually four companies that offer self-showing technology are Rently.com, ShowMojo, Tenant Turner, and CodeBox. CodeBox is actually more of a just logbox. Here it is actually. It doesn't offer this self-scheduling and the rest of the extras that the other three companies do. You can look at the link below. I've included their pricing in our we wrote a blog post and we've included their pricing. We've included the quiz. Actually, I'm sorry, there wasn't a quiz. We've included the pricing comparison, what each self-showing software is better for. Personally, because we've used Rently.com, we liked it the most, and we are not affiliated with any of those companies. And I will show you actually the lockbox, so you can use this completely independent without the software. Just the lockbox. I'll show you how this works. But I just wanted to give you Rently and ShowMojo work very similarly in the way the tenant is pre-qualified and then the appointment is scheduled. It's very similar. So usually when you as a property manager or as a landlord, you can either use directly ShowMojo or Rently app software, enter the property, and the property is syndicated to all of the major websites. Or if you have a software as a property management software like Buildium, AppFolio, Rently or ShowMojo will just pick up the listing directly and also syndicate it. And when the listing is syndicated to, let's say, Zillow, and you have somebody who's interested in your property, what they're gonna do is fill out a form and say, well, I'm interested in this property, and they're gonna get time when they can go and look at the property if the property is occupied. And with ShowMojo, for example, it will coordinate the showing between the tenant, if you have existing tenant, and the potential applicant, so you don't have to get in between that. So, and you can also get notified on all this, on all of this communication. So after, if the property is vacant, they just go to the pre-qualification questions, and once they pass that, they ask about credit card, they ask about another ID, driver's license, photo. They ask to take a photo of themselves to make sure that the same person is looking at the property that has all those IDs, and a credit card. So they collect all of this, and then when the potential tenant goes to the property, they text and say, well, I'm here, and they get the code for that, the code that's valid for 1 hour. They look at the property, they log the property, and the moment they log the property, they get another text, and the text says like, was the property in good condition when you were there? And they say yes. If they said yes, and there was a damage, and the next person noticed damage, and they say something, they will know who was responsible for the damage. So that's how it works. Also, in addition to that, they will get that text. They will get question about what did they like or did not like about the property, and the other question is like not question, but the other link is the application. So if they did like the property, they can just go ahead and apply. And I've really had many cases where I just get an application. I didn't even know that somebody was looking at the property. It's just so automated. I encourage you to ignore all of the naysayers. And if you're a property manager or a landlord with a lot of units, use this. It's a great technology that would allow you to rent faster and because you're having a lot more tenants, and rent faster for more money, and it's just very convenient for everybody. So other than this unfounded fear, there was no negatives. And again, as I said, ShowMojo already has insurance for that. I'm not sure if Rently does, but ShowMojo does. And if you use, as a landlord or a property manager, if you use Buildium, actually, Tenant Turner, the third software, is included in it's not included, I think it's $30 extra, but it's a lot less, it's discounted, I guess I should say, but it's integrated with Buildium. So Tenant Turner would allow you to use this logbox, and actually in a second I'll show you how this is used. A landlord who doesn't want to pay extra for the app can just use this, and the tenants can call them. The landlord can get the information that they want from them and give them the code for the logbox. I'll show you in a minute how this is done. When you buy a code box, you get the serial number. Each code box has a serial number, and this is actually after you log in the dashboard for how to get new log boxes, how to register logbox and all that. So all I want to do is show you actually how to get a code. So I'm gonna say I want to look at the property today, and I want to get the code, and it shows me this is the code. So I'm gonna go and use that code on the code box and enter the house. It's that simple. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions about the self-showing technology, about any of the companies I mentioned, or you just want to find out more, I'm including a link to a blog post we wrote recently. The link is in the description below. Ask us a question, subscribe to the channel if you found it helpful, and also give us a suggestion if you have a topic that you would like me to cover. Let me know. Thanks.